I now give the floor to the permanent representative of the Russian Federation.
Mr. Chairman, dear Mr. Minister, we are pleased to see the resurrection of the President of the Security Council. Thank you, Secretary General, for his report. Carefully. The speakers were heard. The Russian Federation is at the forefront of the United Nations discussion on international information security issues. Back in 2000, 998, 26, we first raised this issue before the General Assembly many years ago and submitted a draft resolution, which has since become a special draft resolution, annual, and has overwhelming support. Most member states on our initiative discuss security issues and the use of information and communication. Technology. A corresponding group has been set up. United Nations governmental experts, which subsequently escalated, work in an inclusive format. Group O. Open. It is Rogos that is unique. A negotiating platform. Under the auspices of the World Organization, all international information issues are discussed. Safety. For a while, Argos has proven its effectiveness and demand in its activities. Among the application results is the launch of the contact point register proposed by Russia in May 2024 for exchange information about the computer attack on the incident. Held. Detailed consideration of existing and potential threats in the field of MIG. Concrete steps are being taken to build national digital capabilities. Last year, universal principles were agreed to provide assistance in this field. We believe that the efforts of the international community should focus on continuing to strengthen interstate interaction within the framework of states. Goals. Achieve concrete results in international information. Safety. We count. It is essential to consolidate and develop the achievements made by the state as, within the framework, the current mandate of the group and the future negotiating format. Russia has put forward its vision of a permanent and inclusive mechanism in this field. We believe it is appropriate to preserve our common heritage by creating, after 2025, a permanent rules with decision-making function. These facts, it is clear that it has been working in a consistent and phased manner around the world for a long time. Therefore, it is necessary.
Involve her.
The Security Council raises big questions. This topic has its particularity, and I should discuss on professional websites with appropriate expertise. Fundamentally, it is important to maintain a professional and constructive approach, avoid politicizing, duplicating the efforts of the international community, and pushing the issue to various United Nations forums, which is counterproductive and may undo all the achievements made under the auspices of the United Nations for a decade. The results were presented to the General Assembly. Equally important is what the discussion is wearing. It is inclusive, with the participation of all members of the United Nations without exception and on an equal basis, because the group makes decisions by consensus. Moving this story to the Security Council automatically cuts off participation in decision-making. All states that are not members of the Council. Those who today supported the Presidency's call for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to be part of the UN Security Council agenda should be well aware of this. Finally, anyone, when talking about the father of potential risks, we must take into account the technical characteristics of the information space. Unlike the threat to the physical world is extremely difficult to identify, let alone establish the source of the so-called attribution attack. Often about attacks, it happened and became known after a long time, even if it was indirect. In this regard, there is currently no even basic understanding of which cases of malicious use of hiccups can be safely classified as direct threats to international peace and security. Safety. The problem has not been solved yet. Attributions, and there is no unified approach to other complex aspects of this multifaceted and specific issue, including legal issues. Any discussion in the Security Council could turn into another exchange of unsubstantiated accusations, deepening divisions in the international community. All of this undermines the authority of the UN Security Council, and it doesn't help to develop constructive solutions. All states that
We're still going to talk today.
are Argos participants proposed for discussion. The issues discussed in the panel are similar. The Global Roundtable was held in May. The Ministerial Table level on the topic of capacity building in the field of IGM. There will be 8 watermelons in July. In fact, the discussion on this topic is ongoing and the progress and results are available to all. Therefore, we do not support the call for awareness raising international community on MIP issues through the convened regular ratio. The Council's mandate is to respond quickly to real threats to international peace and security. They are a philosophical exchange of views popular in the public space. Theme. For this reason, there are other formats of the platform. The most serious concern is the attempt by Western counterparts to exploit the accusations against the malicious activity cards used as a pressure lever on undesirable states. There is no convincing evidence to support these words. Quote, the expert group has repeatedly become a tool of this foul game. SVO Committee, 17A North Korea. At the suggestion of a country, it appealed to Russia about the cyber attack attributed to Pyongyang. Then when we asked for the exact data needed for the investigation, alleged events, experts noted that they had not received additional information from their sources. However, the lack of any details does not prevent Western colleagues from basing themselves on it. To your beloved, highly likes the style of blaming all cyber sins on dissidents. With their actions. Such unsubstantiated innuendo is unacceptable. The attribution of responsibilities requires a professional approach and the provision of comprehensive technical evidence. We categorically reject any argument about what Russia is allegedly encouraging, malicious acts in the information space. For a quarter of a century, we have been advocating prevention. Militarization is different. Or propose concrete steps in this direction long before Western countries generally recognize the existence of such risks. For our country, the priority is to form a universal and legally binding force. Information security tools. What will help prevent interstate conflicts in this regard? To this end, the 2023 General Assembly will introduce Russia. The United Nations is the prototype of the professional international community. Contract concept, Convention on International Information Security. The adoption of such a universal agreement would not only provide a legal basis for the rights and obligations of states in the field of hiccups, but would also provide a solution to the problems in international relations. Political attribution of computer attacks. It also helped to ensure that it would also help to ensure some kind of rigidity, compliance with the information space principles. The sovereign equality of states is openly ignored by many technologically advanced countries at this stage. Countries. We invite all member states, members of the Substantive Committee, discussion based on our proposal on the scene, General Assembly. Unfortunately, Western countries are first and foremost united. States is that it was rejected in an attempt to maintain maximum free hands. This is particularly evident in the context of U.S. dignitaries' acknowledgement of the fact that they have used ICT to launch offensive operations against Russia. And consolidating the doctrinal attitude of Washington and NATO's offensive but in fact aggressive approach. Our speaker today who spoke told us about cyber attacks. Only they forgot to mention that an unprecedented day of disinformation war is being waged against Russia. All of this malicious activity from the UK is coordinated by organizations based in the UK. London. This is the public of Russian communications station painting cake. He also worked tirelessly in the field of disinformation. I remember these armies very well. With the help of these IT resources, a lot of disinformation and lies about Russia and Russian special forces are being broadcast. Military operations. Worryingly, attempts to undermine the global debate on counterterrorism. Use of the CTP for criminal purposes. A clear example is the initiative to combat viruses and ransomware. Such elected clubs, which do not hide their politicized tendencies, undermine the efforts of UN member states to establish universal mechanisms. fight against the use of criminal purpose, especially along the line, Special Committee on Profiles of the United Nations. Mr. President of the Russian Federation has more, 26 years of promotion, constructive agenda in the field of international information, security contributing to the maintenance, mirror and stability in both the real and virtual worlds. We will continue to uphold the principles of formation, peaceful, safe. ICT environment is global.
I thank the permanent representative of the Russian Federation for his statement.